Hi, and welcome to CryptoBiography. I'm your host, Brandon Starr. This is episode 337 of CryptoBiography, and it's called COVID Again. So I was not able to write this week. I was planning on it, of course. I believe I mentioned that during the Greece and Spain episode. And yeah, so the first part of the week was kind of taken up by getting back on track on the Utini cast, so I didn't really get much writing done then. And then COVID hit. I was starting to feel bad on Wednesday when we recorded the Utinacast. And then I felt, and it was pretty bad on Wednesday. It was like a cold or something. But then it got really ugly on Thursday. I got like chills and like a fever of some. I didn't actually bother taking my temperature, but I clearly had a fever as well and some other symptoms. And once the chills got really bad on over Thursday night, and I sneezed some, which doesn't sound like a COVID symptom, but for me it was for the first time. So on Friday I took a COVID test, and yeah, I have COVID. So yeah, and it has sort of made me all fuzzy, and I was just not able to really concentrate on anything. Before I got sick, I was able to sort of reread the story, which is good because I've been away for a few weeks on the trip, and yeah, and so it's good to. Sorry about the noises. So it's it was good to revisit it so that I can sort of remind myself of where I am in the story and what I want to say and so on. So yeah, that's it's probably due to the travel. It's a little hard to say because it started. Well, we got back Friday, and I didn't feel symptoms till next Wednesday, but it very well could be. I mean, I was masked up on the flight back on Friday afternoon, but it masks are not perfect, and of course no one around us was masked up. There were a few people coughing. I have no idea if it's just regular people who just can't control themselves or people actually with COVID, but I suspect the latter. Also, my wife got sick, but she didn't feel that bad. When she caught COVID, she and I both caught COVID on our first trip a little over a year ago, when we went to Ireland and France. And we sort of both caught it in the in-between point when we had finished with Ireland, but we were about to start the French tour, and we had a few days in Paris, and but we were both sick, unfortunately. And she caught it about as hard as I did. The second, if this was this time though, if she caught it and then passed it to me, that's possible, but she didn't feel as bad. She also tested herself, and once I tested, and she was negative, although she was feeling better by a couple days. So it's really hard to say if she had COVID or not, and passed it to me because I knew she was a little ill after the trip, but it's hard to not be around your spouse. So anyway, I'm still feeling a little fuzzy, so I'm trying to keep this on track. So yeah, obviously I'm a little afraid because I know that one of the things about COVID is the more times you get it, the worse it is. Like the damage that it causes in multiple organs in your body, and it varies very much from person to person. But it includes the nervous system, includes the lungs, it includes a lot of parts of the body, unfortunately. And the damage does tend to add up over time if you catching it multiple times. I don't like the fact that I have now caught it twice in a little over a year. But I'm very much caught up on my vaccinations. I had vaccinated a few weeks before the trip, so actually I'm a little surprised I was able to catch it this hard at all, given that the vaccination was so recent. But the vaccine is not. If you've read the literature, you read the reports and so on, that the vaccine is not great at keeping you from feeling any symptoms at all. It does a pretty good job though at making the symptoms lighter, so you don't get hospitalized or suffer serious long-term damage. So I'm definitely going to keep up on my vaccines. and try a little harder now to, avoid folks and, mask up when I think I need to and stuff like that. So anyway, I'm feeling a little bit better. I wish I could say I really felt like I was on the downhill side. I am not getting the chills that I was on Thursday and Friday and a little bit on Saturday. Now that it's Sunday, it's like I don't really feel like the room is cold at all when I'm up and about. So hopefully I'm on the downside of this. I'm a little stuffy, so that's a thing as well. And like I said, it's oddly, yeah, a little bit of coughing, but also like sneezing, like really, really hard sneezing, like rib hurting sneezing. Like after I sneeze a few times, it actually starts to hurt in my chest. I tend to sneeze pretty loud anyway. It's just a thing. I got it from my dad, who also had a very loud and energetic sneeze. And so but when I sneeze normally, I don't tend to actually like ache afterwards in my rib cage. When I do it multiple times, like I did with the first time of COVID and now this time as well, it does hurt after a while, like aches, especially around the sternum where like everything connects. So anyway, that's a lot of fun. So so like I said, as far as the story goes, I do want to get back to it. I've been way too, like, my brain has been way too fuzzy to stream. It's been way too fuzzy to really focus on anything. I've just been kind of like watching videos and movies and just kind of letting things wash over me, trying to drink a lot of fluids and stay, bundled up and, eat the stuff you're supposed to when you're sick and all that good stuff. So anyway, I'm hoping to feel better soon. I believe I will. I had to put off a couple of medical things. I had a dental appointment that I transferred, and also my follow-up to my colonoscopy, which I did an episode about. And if you remember, they found quite a few polyps, 6 of them. They were able to take them all out, but because of that, I have to have a follow-up in 1 year, and it's now been over a year. It's been like almost a year and a half, but they weren't able to get me in right away. And now, unfortunately, I've had to delay it again because of this. Yay. So what will happen on that is their policy for this particular clinic is they call in 10 days, which is when most people are over COVID. But that's just to do a phone call, which basically sets up the next appointment. And that could be still weeks out or even potentially months, but I'm hoping just weeks, but we'll see. Unfortunate. So yeah, so anyway, I've reread the bits of the story that I had written before the trip. This is the story tomorrow. We've gotten parts 1 through 10 already, and there's a fair bit left to say, I must say. I never know exactly how long they're going to be when I'm writing them, and I try not to make story length a thing. Like, I never try to say, well, we should wrap this up and get to the next story, or let's try to stretch this, or anything like that. I try very hard in my mind when I'm writing not to focus on things like that, and just to make the story as long as the story needs to be. And I've been enjoying that aspect of it. So anyway, we've done 10 episodes. I did some compilations while I was gone. My general when I was putting the compilations together, if there's more than like 10 episodes to a story, I find that even the compilations get a bit too long, and also like it doesn't really help me much. Like, okay, well, great. If there's like a 24-part story or something, then if I make it a compilation of an entire and it's done in one, then it's like, wow, okay, so that was a half year's worth of story, and it gets reduced down to one episode. I mean, and I understand how that's sort of like useful. Like if you're looking for the story, it is kind of useful to have it all in one episode. But it's also like kind of a pain. It doesn't really help me like stretch out the time when I'm gone at all, and also makes for really long episodes, which are kind of awkward to download or upload for me and then download for everyone else. So I'm kind of finding that if it goes over 10 episodes, especially if it's like well over 10 episodes, like if it's 15 episodes or something like that, then I'm gonna be like, I kind of break it down into halves or whatever. Anyway, So that's it. Hoping to feel better. I do feel like I'm on the downside, but it's going slowly. I'm a little nervous because, like I said, COVID gets worse the more times you have it. I'm not happy with the fact that I got it a second time. Hopefully, if the bug that my wife had, and like I said, we're not sure if it's COVID or not. But if it wasn't, I'm trying to stay away from her just in case it wasn't COVID. I've been trying to, not give it to her. And also my stepson's here. He ironically he actually has a cold, and then he tested because I'm in the house too. So of course he thought he might have it, and he tested negative for COVID, but he just has a regular cold. So everyone's sick with different stuff right now. It's all kinds of fun. But obviously I'm trying not to give him COVID too. So I'm staying in my little office here where I stream a lot, and when I leave, if they're either out there or likely to be out there soon, I put a mask on. So lovely. All kinds of fun. Anyway, so yeah, and it was really fun for me to reread tomorrow, parts 1 through 10, and I'm looking forward to writing more, and I hope you follow me along for the rest of the story. Thank you very much. Words and Music, copyright 2023, Brandon Starr, all rights reserved. Characters and events are fictional, fictionalized, or satirical. That really only applies to the fictional stories, but anyway, thanks and have a good one.